My dad was up in the podium giving his message when he saw his father walk into church and sit down on the back row. First time his dad had ever been in church. My father was thrilled. As my dad was speaking his message, his father got up, started walking down the center aisle toward the platform. He didn't stop at the altar. He didn't stop at the stairs. He came all the way up on the platform, stood right next to my father, interrupted his sermon. He said, "John, I'm finishing today what I started over 30 years ago. I want to give my life." I want to talk to you today about it's coming together. We all face situations that look like they're never going to work out. Our dream is too big, a medical report is too negative, or our family is so dysfunctional, we don't see how we could ever be restored. And as the months go by, sometimes even years, and we don't see anything happening, it's easy to get discouraged and give up on what we're believing for. But just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean that God is not working. Behind the scenes, He's arranging things in your favor, lining up the right people, the healing, the promotion, the favor. And if you will stay in faith, at the right time, you will see it come together. What you couldn't make happen on your own, God will make happen for you. Your dream is coming together. Your relationship is coming together. The healing, the promotion, the vindication will all come together. A friend of mine has been in a legal battle for over 6 years. It's a business dispute. These people were making false accusations against him, trying to take his company. He knew he was in the right. He thought it'd take 3 or 4 months to clear up, but it's drug on year after year. He's had to fight those thoughts telling him, this is going to ruin your career. It's never going to work out, bankrupt your business, make you look bad. He could have been discouraged, bitter. Instead, all through the day, Lord, thank you that you're my vindicator. Thank you that you're fighting my battles. He was saying, in effect, thank you that it's coming together. One day, unexpectedly, the other side called the judge and admitted that they were making it up, that it was totally false. The case was dismissed. Suddenly, it all came together. He was vindicated. It may not happen on your timetable, but I can assure you, God is a faithful God. He said in Hebrews 13 in the Amplified Version, I will not in any way fail you. God said it 3 times because He knew how easy it would be to give up on our dreams, let our circumstances and how long it's taking talk us out of His best. And you may have a situation that looks impossible today. The odds are against you. You've had some setbacks. Let me encourage you, it's coming together. God is not going to fail you. The breakthrough is already in your. In the scripture, the prophet Ezekiel saw a vision of this valley filled with dry bones. It was a huge graveyard with thousands and thousands of bones on the ground. And God told him to speak to those bones and they would come back to life. He could have thought, that's impossible. They're just bones, disjointed, dried up. They can't live, it's too late. But in this vision, he started prophesying to these dead bones. And the scripture says there was a noise, a rattling, and the bones came together. All at once, these bones joined back into the right place. The organs came, the tissue, the flesh. Then God breathed life into them, and they stood up like a vast army. The Israelites had been discouraged. They were saying, our bones are dried up. Our hope is gone. We've been cut off. In other words, we're just slaves and we're never going to reach our destiny. We just have dead, dry bones. God said, Ezekiel, go tell my people, the sovereign Lord says, I'm about to open up your graves. I'm going to take you back to your land and you will know that I am the Lord. He was saying, Ezekiel, go tell them what you saw in this vision, that there's about to be a great coming together. What they couldn't make happen on their own, I'm going to supernaturally make happen for them. Your situation on your own may be impossible. The good news is you're not on your own. You have the most powerful force in the universe on your side. One touch of God's favor can catapult you to a new level. God told Ezekiel to prophesy to those dead bones. And whatever looks dead in your life, you need to prophesy victory, prophesy wholeness, prophesy abundance. You may be struggling in your finances. Don't go around talking about how you'll never get ahead, how high prices are, what you can't afford. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. Dare to prophesy, I am the head and not the tail. Whatever I touch will prosper and succeed. Maybe you're up against a big obstacle. Don't talk about how big your problem is. Talk about how big your God is. Dare to prophesy to that sickness. Cancer, you can't defeat me. I'm a child of the Most High God. That son that's off course. Don't go call your friends. Talk about how bad he is, how he's going to give you a nervous breakdown, how he keeps running with the wrong crowd. No, prophesy, my son will fulfill his destiny. I am calling out his seeds of greatness. No weapon formed against my family will ever prosper. My father wasn't raised with any kind of spiritual upbringing. His parents and family, they were fine people, cotton farmers, but they didn't know anything about God. At the age of 17, my dad gave his life to Christ, the first one in the family. And against all odds, he left the farm and went on to become a successful pastor. And over the years, he would come back home and talk to his family about the Lord. His mother and some other relatives, they were open, they received Christ. But his father wouldn't have anything to do with God. He said, John, I don't need any of that religious stuff. That's not for me. When I'm dead like a dog. Just roll me over in a ditch. My dad would tell him, no, Dad, you have to live on somewhere. It would go in one ear and out the other. This went on year after year. Looked like one of those dead, dry bones, like he would never change. But my father didn't get discouraged. He didn't go around complaining. He kept prophesying to those dead bones. Father, you said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. All through the day, instead of worrying, Lord, thank you that you're working behind the scenes. Lord, I believe these dead bones can live. I believe you'll reveal yourself to my father. And one day, my dad was a guest minister in the town where his parents lived. He'd been talking to his father for over 30 years about the Lord with no response. My dad was up in the podium giving his message when he saw his father walk into church and sit down on the back row. First time his dad had ever been in church. My father was thrilled. As my dad was speaking his message, his father got up, started walking down the center aisle toward the platform. He didn't stop at the altar. He didn't stop at the stairs. He came all the way up on the platform, stood right next to my father, interrupted his sermon. He said, John, I'm finishing today what I started over 30 years ago. I want to give my life to Christ. My father prayed with him right there in front of the whole congregation. A dream came true. My father went to be with the Lord in 1999. I knew I was supposed to step up to pastor the church. I felt it so strongly, but I didn't know if I could do it. I liked being behind the scenes. That's where I'd spent the last 17 years doing the television production at the church and editing my father's sermons. But I took that step of faith, not knowing what was going to happen. And looking back now, I can see how God was guiding me all that time. When I edited my father's sermons, I would have to listen to them each probably 5 or 6 times to cut them down to time. All those years, those scriptures, those stories were going into me over and over, getting me prepared for what I'm doing now. I never dreamed I would become a minister, but it all came together. What I needed, God had already put in me. Never dreamed we'd have church in the former Compact Center, but it all came together, more than we could ask or think. Are you worrying about your future? Worried about how you're going to accomplish a dream? Or how you're going to raise your children? How you're ever going to meet the right person? God has already lined it up. He's already arranged everything you need. Like with me, you may not even realize how right now God is getting you prepared for something much greater, much bigger than you've ever dreamed. Keep honoring Him. Keep being your best. Keep prophesying life to those dead areas. You too are going to see it all come together more than you imagine.